guys, welcome back to Be Ami. Today I'm going to do a special. I'm going to talk about my 2015 experience just because I get a lot of questions about it, number one. Number two, it might help someone who has experienced or is experiencing similar symptoms that I did. And also when I was oh gosh, my voice went a little bit weird there. Also, when I was going through it, I did go on YouTube just to kind of see if anyone had similar symptoms or like a similar story to mine, and I couldn't really find much videos on it. And I think because probably it's a rare case or something, I don't know. But so I thought, okay, let me share it, let me talk about it, and hopefully I'll be able to answer all your questions and thoughts, and also how I felt about it all. So without further ado, if you're interested to hear my 2015 story, then keep watching. Around that time I woke up, and as you do, going to work, and I felt like quite breathless, and I had like a sharp pain on my chest. And I've had these symptoms before, so to me it was kind of like, okay, it's going to come and go, because that's what normally happens. But this time I felt like it was a little bit different, because normally it stays for like a short period amount of time, the pain and the breathlessness. But I realized that this time it was just not stopping, was not going away. So obviously, as you do, I went to my GP, and if you don't, then you should. So I went to my GP, and she did like the test and everything, and you know, was trying to listen to my breathing on both sides. And then that's when she realized that one side, which is the right side of my lung, there wasn't really enough oxygen or air flowing through. So in other words, I wasn't really breathing the same as when she listened to this side on my left side and then on my right side. So then when she realized that, then she said, well, I'm going to send you to A&E because I need you to get an x-ray done. So of course I did that. But what I did, because obviously I have been to hospital quite a few times, and I kind of know like the regime, no, not regime, like the standard procedure for A&E. Like you could be there all day, like all day. So I came back home, so then I was waiting for my dad to see if he could take me. At the time he was quite occupied, so I thought, okay, let me go into work, and then when he's finishes, then I can just call him and he can take me to A&E. So bearing in mind I was like having pains, but prior to that I was feeling quite unwell. Me and a colleague at work, we was like not feeling too good, and I was thinking, what's going on, you know? So anyway, I went to work, and I thought, okay, let me call my dad, you know, once he finishes and he's free. And I normally finish work about 3, so that's not too bad. So I went to work. I told my manager I have to go to A&E later, so I'm gonna finish early. So he was like, okay, cool. And then I called my dad, and I told him I need to go to A&E. I went to A&E, we waited, I got my x-ray done. Normally when I've had my x-rays, they've just been like, okay, we'll send your results to your doctor, and then once they get, they'll be in touch or whatever. But this time round I was like in the x-ray room, and the guy was like, right, well, we can't send you home, like you can't go home today because your x-ray shows that you've had a collapsed lung, so you're going to go back, you need to go back to A&E. And I was just like, okay, like what? So anyway, I was like, okay, cool. So I told my mom, and then we went to the A&E, and then they gave us, I think they gave us like a letter to take then and whatever, so that is quicker. And as you know, A&E can be long, so they do blood tests and all of that stuff. They look at the x-ray, and then they tell me that my lung had collapsed. And it was quite yeah, so they told me that my lung had collapsed, and it was quite serious, and they're going to need to, like, I can't go home, like I need to stay, and they're gonna need to like do a few procedures. So I had two options. I can't quite remember the second option, but one of the option was to put a drain inside. So once they put the drain inside, then hopefully that should kind of take the air out, because it seemed like there was some air trapped, and then they also saw some fluid. So they said they needed to do that right there and then, you know. And at that time my mum had gone back to work because she was like in and out. So obviously I was thinking, well, I can't go through this without anyone with me, because I was on my own. There was like a whole load of doctors around me. I didn't know what was going on, you know. I just woke up going to work. Yeah, I felt breathless and some sharp pains, but it wasn't kind of foreign to me. I'd felt this before, and I don't know how my lung could have just collapsed. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't play any sports, I wasn't in a fight or anything, so it was a bit like it was a bit of a shock kind of thing. But I think when you're like in shock, your reaction is a bit delayed. I think that's what happened to me. So anyway, I was lying on the bed, and I could just see like a few doctors just gathering and like discussing my case and everything. And so the doctor came to me and said, which would you want to choose? So what I had done was I had a drain put in, and so that whole drain experience was a whole experience on its own. They gave me local anesthetic, but the anesthetic was like the worst, because I was feeling like every single pain. And what had happened was when they went to put the drain in, because I had like loads of doctors, and then I had trainees and all of that stuff, and that was an experience on its own, because I don't know what was going on. I was like laying there, and they did say to me, do you mind if, you know, some of these people kind of like stay around the corner? So I thought it was going to be like round the corner, not like inside the room corner. And so I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And I was like top naked, laying there, and then there was like all these doctors around, and I was thinking, okay, no one told me this was gonna happen. Like, I know obviously when you give birth, it's like you lose your whole dignity, you're just like naked or whatever, but I ain't giving birth, like, you know, like I was just like, oh, okay, like, didn't anyone tell me I was gonna be naked in front of everybody? But anyway, and then so, you know, the doctor came, and then they brought all the tools, and then he went to put the drain in, and they put the first anesthetic. And, you know, I hate needles, but I was just like, my mum came, I was holding her hand, and they was pushing it in, and it, like, they missed like where they were supposed to get it to, so it got stuck like in between my ribs, and then there was like pushing it in. And then at that time the anesthetic was just not kicking in, and it needed to be in deeper. So the anesthetic, like, it was too deep for them to put it in, so they had to just continue without it. And they had to like take it out, then trying to put it back in again, and then he was like pressing on my rib, like swear down, like he was pressing so much. I was just like in so much agony. I was just like, oh my days, like, what is this? And then so cut the long story short on that one, when they had finished, obviously I had to do an x-ray just to make sure that the tube is in the right place. And lo and behold, it's not in the right place. They put it in too far in, because I was in so much pain after they put in the drain, and I was just thinking, what the heck is going on? So anyway, they put it too far in, so then now the doctor had to come and pull it out a little bit so that it's in the right place. And I was just thinking, what? Like, hold up, like, are you going to remove the whole thing again, and are you going to put that in again? Like, I was freaking out. But that was okay, like, that wasn't too painful. yeah, I managed to deal with that. So I was in the hospital. I was put in a room, and then I was put in a ward, and they was hoping that the drain was going to take it out and lift the lung back again, but unfortunately it didn't. So the journey was only going to be much more longer, and it was a long journey, and the experience, it was one that I will never forget. So I'm in a ward, and at this stage the area that I'm in can no longer do anything further for me, so I'm going to have to be transferred to another town and do in more depth procedures to get this sorted. So every day I'm kind of carrying my drain with me everywhere that I go. I can't bath, I can't do anything on my own at this stage because I've got this drain, and that's when it really starts to like kick in. Starting my nights like in a hospital bed from that day, that's when it really starts, after that little scenario, that little drama of putting the drain in. So this is kind of like first part one of my pneumothorax story that I wanted to share with you guys, and I'm going to do a part two because I didn't want to do everything in one video because it is quite long. If you want to see the end of my pneumothorax story and how I overcame that, and the state of my lung now and the state of my body, and also how I dealt with that internally, then subscribe and see you in my next video. Thank you so much guys for watching. Bye for now. Bye.